Welcome back to Good Morning Geelong on this lovely Friday morning. Hope you're fit and well, enjoying the Cocoa Pops or whatever it might be. As promised, after speaking with Councillor Andy Richards in our first segment, another new face on the City of Greater Goodness down here in our wonderful city of Geelong. On the council, joining us now is Councillor John Doull. Morning, John, how are you?
Good morning, thank you. Yes, very good, thanks.
And viewers, early Friday morning, not yet got the tie on, don't worry. That comes a bit later in the day, John.
Well, I must admit, I'm not a fan of ties. I sort of see that formal look with a suit and an open shirt. I think that's, to me, reasonably Australian. It's a hot, parched land, and I sort of see that the tie isn't quite necessary. And I do model myself on one or two other politicians that don't wear a tie as well. So
yeah, well, viewers, it is becoming the male fashion to be wearing dress suits and shirts without the tie. So Councillor John Doull is certainly in fashion now. John,
thank you.
A little bit of background. I understand you're a Ballarat boy from up at the Rat.
Yes. Well, I grew up in Ballarat. I probably had the first 20 years of my life in Ballarat, which was a great place to grow up. I've sort of subsequently moved to Melbourne for probably another 10 to 12 years with regard to studying. I did 2 courses in Melbourne, and I met my wife in Melbourne, and we obviously knew that we were interested in having children and lifestyle, so we've been down on the Bellarine Peninsula for 12, and this is our 13th year on the Bellarine.
So you certainly had a climate change, if we excuse the pun, from your early days at Ballarat to now down on the Bellarine.
I must admit, like I do have a soft spot for Ballarat, but I do acknowledge that in winter it is cold. And what I do really enjoy sort of within the Bellarine Peninsula is that, and it's even the climate's a little bit different to Geelong, those local macro weather effects, I enjoy. We don't get the really hot days. We tend to sort of have those sea breezes coming in, and we tend not to have those really cold days. Again, sort of the sea keeps things reasonably mild. So now, I do enjoy the weather down on
as an old Ballarat boy, I've got to ask this question. Did you ever think that you would ever see Lake Wintery dry?
Look, no, I can honestly say that I didn't. I do believe historically, though, that it was dry once or twice before because of drought. It was interesting a little while back. I'm not sure that they enforced it, but I'm not sure that Ballarat Council at the time was that happy that people were walking across the lake. But I was one of those who had to, at least say that when it was dry that I did walk across Lake Wintery. It was funny too because I actually did 6 years of rowing at school, and the last time I was at the 1,000 metre mark was obviously when I was sort of in HSC, which is a few years now. But it all came flooding back that to be at the 1,000 metre mark of Lake Wintery, but not in a boat. I was standing there with my children. So
yes, it's an interesting experience, viewers. I have stood in the middle of the rowing course of the 1956 Melbourne Olympics on Lake Wintery when it's been dry. You made the move, Melbourne University, graduating in project management, I understand.
Yeah, look, I did building at RMIT. It was a 4-year course. I didn't do the last year. It was at RMIT. The third year was actually a work year, and I worked for a fairly high-profile architect in St Kilda, and obviously loved working for him. And I guess at that stage it was, the temptation of, earning a wage after doing 2 courses. So, but certainly worked for him for a number of years, and was certainly involved in project management. So yeah, it was a good thing to be involved in.
And one other very interesting element about this man, viewers, Councillor John Doull, is that he loves aeroplanes because he also currently is a holder of a commercial pilot's licence.
Yes.
What brought about that wonderful involvement in the airways?
Look, I'm not quite sure how I got involved, but growing up in Ballarat, it wasn't as if I was bored or anything, but somehow I managed to get out to the airstrip, out to the airfield at Ballarat, and I, obviously as a 16, 17-year-old you don't have a car licence, but I'd pedal my bike out there and had flying lessons, so I was literally flying wherever I could around Australia at 17 and taking friends to get hours up. And it was interesting too, because you get to destinations such as Hobart or wherever, and you couldn't hire a car. So we were literally stuck at airports wherever we went. And but yeah, certainly flying. Look, I've always loved flying. It's been a good influence sort of on my life. There's a certain amount of perception and discipline that you need to be, what I regard as a good pilot. And I've seen most of Australia by, having that sort of sense of adventure and taking people on various trips and working, flying instructor and et cetera, et cetera. So it's been good.